Hey guys.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi Jade.
Hi, Mel.
So Jade and I have decided that even though we can't be in the studio this week, we still wanted to record our vlog.
Hmm.
So this is really an extension on what we've been doing on within the studio on Tuesdays once. We're doing that once a fortnight, weren't we?
Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where we will be cutting it back to only doing it once a month, but we're hoping that it'll be a little bit more involved. And, we'd love to hear what you guys think and what you guys do in response to these vlogs. So the first vlog that we're doing is surrounding color theory and also artists and their professional development. So I think the first thing that I'm going to be looking, I got notes.
Me too. I've got notes and I have a cat. Yay.
In the other room. I've locked him out because he walks all over the keyboard. So I think the first thing that we will chat about is why Jade and I feel that professional development is so important to an artist's practice.
Why do you think it's important, Mel?
Um, so I come from an education background where I worked in early childhood, and we had a certain number of hours that we were actually required to do for professional development each year. However, in saying that, I did notice whenever professional development was undertaken, whether it be individually or as part of a group, the value ongoing that was actually taken from that professional development was well worth your time. So it's really about, it was really about developing your own practice and your own knowledge, and then actually being able to take that back to the classroom. And this is no different.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love learning. Look, I would have spent my entire life at university if paid.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. So
Well, from a practicing point, like a practicing artist point of view, you because also we tend to work in isolation. Like so maybe we might work in a group studio, or we might work in a studio where we're isolated. But we, unless we're doing a group project, we would tend to be working solo, and so you sort of become your own echo chamber. And then to go to do some professional development helps you connect with people and actually to tease out those things you've been thinking about and those ideas that you have, and also to make sense of what it is you're trying to create.
yeah,
So like the what we're going to talk about today, color theory, I was very much struggling with color. I worked with pretty much a very limited palette. And so going and doing that professional development has helped me, open up my practice.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and become more fulfilled in my practice.
Mm.
So in that respect, like what you were saying, you go and you are learning to help your professional practice.
Yeah,
So we could go and do some professional practice around how to do bookkeeping.
yeah.
I mean, we don't want to,
No.
but you know, but that in and of itself is also important to our practice. So I guess professional practice is those things that become important to what you are doing or what your end goal is. So if you wanted to create a sculpture, maybe you would go and do some professional practice around how to create a sculpture or public art, or those sorts of, it's so.
And you look throughout history as professional development without it actually being named that. And you can see that in art movements that took place over history, where people have actually come together and they've shared and expanded their ideas. And
Yes.
from that, these art movements have actually been born.
Well, you think about it.
Forward.
Yeah, in Europe, you had the Fauvists, you had Blue Rider, you had the Impressionists, and on it went. Bauhaus. You had all these movements. You're right, and in and of itself, would be like, sorry, the cat's just biting me. I'm very professional.
Meeting, Jade.
Yeah. I think she has to go. Just out, not go. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think professional development is something that, although we're calling it professional development in this context, it can just be something as simple as going to a class with a medium that you've never used before.
Correct.
So, we do a lot of professional development because we're constantly going to classes. We're both a little bit obsessed. But, it's really about expanding your horizons, and doing
Yes.
with other people is... Are you okay?
Sorry. Worse than a child.
Doing it with other people is actually going to take it that one step further. And you've got that soup of ideas that happens coming from everybody.
Oh, I like that. A soup. That's really good. Yeah.
So, moving on from that, the whole idea of what we're talking about this particular vlog is about the colour theory that we've been learning about. So,
and you're going to ask, what is colour theory?
Yes.
And I'm going to go like this.
Jade, what's colour theory?
What's colour theory? Off the top of my head, I actually don't have a written down definition of it. But to me, colour theory is about understanding colour, its impact, how we're going to use it in our work, how we use it to elicit emotions, and how we can use it to actually create a composition that is cohesive and aesthetically pleasing, or maybe, if not, because also we could use it to make something create an unsettling feeling. So if we think about Munch's The Scream, that's quite an unsettling image. Or we could think of Van Gogh's Sunflowers. So color is used.
Yeah, so colour theory really is about learning about individual colours and how they individually make you feel, and also how they work against each other. So you have your complementary colours, and then each colour has also got its tones and its tints. So it can get lighter or it can get darker. So our first class that we did with Stella, we did a colour wheel, which I actually have here.
Show us.
I'll quickly show you guys what we did. So this, is it backwards? Yes, it's backwards. So this is what we did in our first class with Stella. So this is your basic colour wheel using the 3 primary colours, which for those who don't know is red, yellow and blue. And then we used those to actually mix and create secondary colours, which is purple, orange and green, and then the tertiary colours. Look at me looking up in the sky because I can't remember the colours.
No, but also, and the tertiary colours are brown, brown and brown. But also, depending on the dominant primary that you've used, you could get like a maroon brown, or you could get a green brown, so it's like, the thing too is it's this amazing little wormhole that you go down, because the mixing and blending of colors also is relegated by your the types of pigments that you use. So we've been using the different pigments that were in studio as well, and find and that's the other thing too, like if you've got your 3 primaries, but I'm just going to buy my 3 primaries,
you have the cool and the warm pigments is what creates your color. So I will disclaimer this, color theory for me is actually well within my comfort zone. I have done a lot of color mixing. I don't buy many colors in the studio to work with the children. I basically work with red, yellow and blue. And I encourage the children even then to mix their own colors as well. So for me, it was well within my comfort zone. I quite enjoyed the practice of mixing the colors to make the color wheel, but the pigments that we used were frustrating for me because I wasn't getting the colors that I wanted. So I went home and I did it again with my paints that I have at home, because they have better pigments, and I was able to, they were all cool colored ones rather than warm colored ones. So I was able to get the colors that I wanted.
Well, when you say they were better pigments, they were actually just pigments that suited you.
Yeah, they were. They were
because
cool pigments rather than warm coloured pigments, which is what we were working with. So when you use warm coloured pigments to mix something like green, you're going to get quite a dirty green. It'll be a browny green other than your bright, vibrant green, which is what appeals to me. If you're more taken by the natural brown greens, then by all means use a warm pigment to mix your colours, but that's not my thing. So, but I did notice during some of the colour mixing that you were a little bit outside your comfort zone, because you have worked with such a limited palette. I hope you can still hear me. It is pouring right now.
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
You have worked with such a limited colour palette leading up to this. So I could see that there were some things that were making you a little bit, there was a lot of, this isn't making the color that I wanted to make kind of thing.
Well, I think also too, because we had those, you know, like you're saying, we had those pigments, but also to me, it's such a necessary exercise, but it was actually quite boring.
Yeah.
Because I, and I'm being a terrible student in that sense, because I'd already done this with Stella in another class, and I'm like, I should have just brought my color wheel that I'd already made.
Yeah.
But in having said that, you're right, because learning about the pigments that we have. So if I, you know, you could do this exercise like what you showed before.
Yeah. So
with any range of paints or watercolors.
So I did actually go on and do that. So you can see here, this is with pastel, this is with watercolors.
Okay.
With two different brands of paint.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. So the two different brands of paint, I can see it even though we're, you know, across the video screens. They're actually, their green is really quite different.
Yeah, so the green up here is a completely different tone to the green down here. So this is more of your brown. These are warm colours.
Yep.
And then these ones are cool colours.
Yes.
This is where you're getting, so you'll get a better purple from your warm colour ones. Well, a better, in my eyes.
Yes.
And a better green from your cool colours, because green is a cool colour. And
yeah. So actually what the lesson really was too was about using what we have at hand, because some people just don't have the budget to go and buy a whole stack of, and you know, if we say, oh, well, what paint should we buy? You buy the paints that you can afford, or whatever, medium that you're going to use. And so if you could afford going to your local, what do you call those stores with?
Peep shop.
Sorry?
Peep shop.
Yes. So if you go there, you can buy like the Montmartre brand, which was what we use in studio.
Or the Chromacryl student acrylics as well are another really good one. And the good thing about the Chromacryl student acrylics is, and we have no affiliation to Chromacryl, but they actually have a selection of warm in the primary and a selection of cool primary. And I think they retail for around $5 or $6 a tube.
Yeah, which is quite reasonable.
It is. And then you really only need a few colours and then your black and your whites to be able to create pretty much whatever colour.
Yeah, but if you already had colours at home, so something that had been sitting around, what you could do is you could create your own colour wheel and you could see what there is. So this actual process is important in that realm of colour theory, but it's also really important so that you don't get disappointed. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons too, that if I wanted, so because I've discovered a mid-tone that I really, really like, and I wouldn't have discovered that if I hadn't have continued the practice of seeing what I've got at home and how it all works. So I think if we're going to offer our community something, is that from this particular lesson, if you investigate, it's about also investigating your materials and understanding, you know, because sometimes we might get frustrated with a project because we're not getting the color that we wanted or not understanding.
And it's just about, you know, trying different, so as you try different things as well, making sure you're notating all of that. So I've done little, you'll see if you go onto my my Instagram page, Melissa Cupidon _art, you'll actually see these pages that I've done. I've done 3 pages for 3 different colors, because to begin with, I was like, oh, yellow's my favorite color. I love yellow, which I do. I adore yellow. It's such a happy, sunny color. And, you know, although it does have some more less lovely meanings through history, I love yellow. I wear yellow and I quite enjoy yellow. But moving through all of this, I have actually discovered that within my artwork, I prefer, at this point in time, and this is the thing, it's not actually something that will stay the same. At this point in time, I'm enjoying more of your turquoises and your pinks, like that really bright, vibrant pink. So, you know,
it's also what we're seeing as well. We're seeing a lot of pink and turquoise. And so maybe we resonate with what we see visually in our media, you know, because something I used to do is always look up, you know, the Pantone colors for each year.
Yep.
I don't even know what they are for 2021. No. Oh, yeah, we're 2021, aren't we? Yeah, I don't even know what year. So you'll see colors trending. And while that's really important, I don't know that we need to try and stick with the colors that are on trend.
No.
But if they appeal to you, and you know, if you go through the process that we've been going through with looking at our signature color, so you started with yellow and now you feel like and blue and yellow sit beside each other very well.
Yeah.
They're harmonious. Was that right? They're in harmony with each other.
And I think as well, it's about really pushing those colors. So, you know, although pink and turquoise are appealing to me right now, it's very much about taking it that one step further and, you know, so for me, I like to mix on the page. So although I'll start with, you know, a base color and I'll mix colors on my palette, I actually prefer then to take it that one step further and mix those colors on the page themselves to create that depth and interest that you wouldn't get from just a flat color on the page. So yes, turquoise and pink are very much on trend, but I like to take those colors and push them that little bit further. So different tones of pink and cool pinks and warm pinks and, you know, just moving through all of that rather than just going pink.
So if you hadn't have done, so if we hadn't have gone down this path of engaging a teacher to come in and talk to us about color theory and start on this process, do you think you probably would have looked to those colors, or would have you just maybe still been focusing on yellow?
I think that I probably would have ended up there, but I think that the process that I've gone through to get there has been more concise doing it from the lessons with Stella.
Yeah.
So it's rather than fumbling through everything. And I think you've been very much the same. So working with your red, which you already knew was your signature color.
Oh, yes. So I started blending because I wanted to check in with some colors that I had in my paint box. And I found this yellow that creates that when I mix it with, so I had 3 different reds. I had, let me just go to the correct page. I had this red that was quite, maybe, where did I put it? Oh, so I had all the same brand, but different. So I was using Derivan Matisse and then Derivan acrylic. So I think they segmented those as an artist range and a student range. So the Matisse Naphthol Scarlet is quite orange, and then there's a crimson, and then there's a, would you not believe it, a Naphthol Crimson.
Okay.
So it goes from like this warm, bright to a cool dark.
Have you painted them into your journal?
Yeah, can you see that?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And then I did the tint with each of those. So a tint is using white to go from the like straight out of the tube to almost white. And then I did the black tone. And then these ones, I was mixing it with black, blue, and yellow, and I found an orange. And I was like, oh, wow, I actually really like that orange. So then I've started using the darkest of the red as a background, and then using the orange to create shapes and what have you in a composition. And then using white as my, so not using black. So I'm going to try and stay away from black at the moment. But also part of that searching was also looking at, if you can see there, all these other imagery. And even here, I can't, can you see that one there, that pink one? Yeah. So the pinks with the birds. So actually, so pink is a tone of red, or it's a tint. And I'm like, I never realized that I like pink.
Yeah.
So
I love pink.
and also, like, I wear shades of red all the time, you know. So that was actually quite interesting. So pushing, and also I'm doing, people might have seen on our socials, I'm doing a 10-day challenge called the Brilliance Project. And I had to today investigate my brand colors. And I'm actually moving away from the hard red, which I thought was my color, you know, strong, passionate, you know, and it's feeling, actually, it feels good. So colors emote, you know. So that's what I'm really finding. So even though my color is red, I've actually been looking at other colors as well.
And I think that's where it comes to pushing the colors further. So you haven't actually gone away from red. You're just using different versions of that. That. So really exploring red as a color in all its different facets. Because when you look at red, when you think of red, it is just that really bold, bright, you know, color.
Stop sign. Like stop.
On cars, tail lights, on stop signs, on all those types of things. And, you know, it's about just exploring what else red can be from that. And I think, you know, that really swings back around nicely to how it's changed our practice within our work. Both, I think it was a little bit of serendipity with the way that the class that we did with Stella happened, and then we went into lockdown.
I feel like we maybe we jinxed everyone.
No, no, we didn't. I would not have wished this at any point in time. However, I am very grateful for the fact that we actually did this class right before lockdown with Stella, because it gave us something else to concentrate on rather than the fact that the studio was closed for what we thought was only 1 week. So I am very grateful that we were able to do that. And it was only one class. So for us to do that one class and have it impact our practice so immensely was mind-blowing, I think, for both of us. We've both been able to spend so much time working through our own.
So the class was, so it was color, but also, you know, we needed to go and investigate. So we had to go and investigate other artists and create a mood board. And my mood board I found really quite interesting, because I went and did a deep dive into my magazines and what have you, and I found things keep coming up for me and returning to, for me, some very strong artists. And one was an artist, or a couple, Christo and Jean-Claude, who I studied when I very first went to school. Hi, Elsha.
I'm recording a video, actually.
And Jean-Claude and Christo did these wrappings, and they actually wrapped Fraser Island and the rocks. Oh no, maybe it was just the rocks of Sydney. They wrapped the Reichstag in Germany before it was reopened. They've done something called the running fence. So that was really lovely for me to go, oh, actually, I really enjoy these very strong, dynamic, visionary artists. And so finding my mood board and putting that whole collection together was actually, it was a lovely dive into the things that inspire me and what I love. And, the artists that I find inspirational, So that was really important. And also then looking at form and shape and outcomes and what have you. So we started with this one little seed of an idea, and then it took us places.
Yeah, and it's really nice as well being able to talk with you about it through all of this, because I work very differently, where your art for you often has meaning or purpose, whereas for me it's about the way it makes you feel. So for me it's very much about the color. So I've spent a little bit of time experimenting with quite an extensive palette, actually.
Because that's the other thing too, like just because it was your signature color doesn't mean that you're not going to explore.
Sorry, I've actually come back to this sort of palette where I've explored a lot of different colors and how they actually relate to each other. So mixing all of these colors, I'll then go back over the next couple of days and actually choose sort of 5 or 6 colors out of all those colors that I've mixed that I feel play well against each other and really appeal to my eye as well. So yeah, it's been really, I mean, I've also done some little sketch size things, but yeah, it's just been really nice to have something else to concentrate on.
Yeah. So the impetus also, to sort of close the circle on this, was that if we didn't fill our cup, then, we couldn't bring anything, we couldn't bring that extra special sauce, I think is, yeah. We couldn't.
As facilitators, the pressure can sometimes be quite immense, having to bring it all, classes. So as you say, having that opportunity to fill our own cups so that then we can pass that joy over to our customers and to our participants is incredibly important.
And also too that it's also why people it's why you seek someone out. It's like, well, what do they have to offer? And that if we don't continually look to fill our cups and have this excitement to offer, then I'm pretty sure our classes would become dull and boring.
This is it. It should never be dull and boring. It shouldn't be dull and boring in our own practice. We should be excited by what we're doing. And yes, that will ebb and flow over time, like everything does.
Yeah.
But for us to be excited about what we're doing, that joy and excitement then overflows into the classes that we facilitate. So, that's why it's so important for us to continue to do this. We've booked a regular time with Stella, where hopefully, provided we don't go into lockdown again, we'll be seeing her once a month, and just really pushing ourselves, because during our classes we push you. So we cannot expect you to do that if we're not willing to do that ourselves.
Exactly. I 100% agree, because you've got to walk the walk and talk the talk. And I've already just by these simple investigations, I've got all these ideas about what I can bring. The impact that one class has had has been huge. Overall. And yes, it's nice to go down little wormholes and find out all the history of a color, and things like red was like pretty much the first color that was used, because face paint or body decoration and handprints on
yeah, those sort of ochres, the reds and yellow ochres,
yeah.
are all the first colours that were actually used.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It is.
How many hours have we both spent doing all of this over the last?
I couldn't
look
count.
how excited it's actually made us as well.
Yeah.
So, even just being able to become excited about what we're doing. Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty.
That's really
No.
All
It's
right,
very
guys.
important.
We're
Yeah.
going to have to wrap it up.
Oh.
So if you guys have anything that you'd like to add, if you want to tell us about what your favorite colors are, or what you've been doing in your practice through all of this, then please, you can comment below, whether you're seeing this in our Facebook group or whether you are watching it on YouTube. We would love to hear from you. And follow along.
I think we should also link to Stella because we talk about her so much.
Yeah, so we'll put a link to Stella's Instagram page in the comments below. Also check out our Instagram pages, Mel's Creative Makes Melissa Cupid _art. And what's yours, Jade?
Jade Lee's Pavey Artist, all one word.
Yeah, that will be linked below as well. But yeah, as we always want to create conversation. So if you guys have anything you'd like to add, then please comment underneath.
Yeah, failing that, we'll just keep showing you what we're doing.
Yeah. So we would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.